Hey, welcome everybody to the Soapbox. This is the place where people who work and help in recovery can get on their soapbox and share what's really important to them. Today, my guest is Steve Knapp. He's an addiction recovery coach and co-host of the Through the Glass Recovery podcast. Steve, hello.
Hello, Richard. How are you?
I'm doing fine, Steve. Glad I want to thank you for coming on and spending a little time with me today.
Yeah, I appreciate the invite. I'm happy to be
Very
here.
good. We're going to take some time to get to know you and get to know all about you. See what your takes on recovery. Real quick, give me a little quick Cliff Notes view of Steve and tell us a little bit about you. Get us started.
I am 41 years old, coming in on the ripe old age of 42 um, at the end of December. I am about 2 years, 8 months sober now from
Okay.
alcohol. I'm an addiction recovery coach, just like you said, for Through the Glass Recovery. Um and Yeah, I'm divorced father of two little girls, 6 and 8.
Okay. Very good. Nice to have you. Nice to have you, Steve. Uh, hey, I always tell everybody I got to do a commercial first. um, secondstarts.com, number two, NDSTARTS, helping the complete family and support networks of young adults in recovery by installing a permanent self-refueling transformation that works with and enhances your current evidence-based treatments, strengthening relationships between the client, the support network, and helping professionals. Okay, and let everybody know that I this video comes out on my YouTube channel, Second Starts. So go watch Steve, subscribe to my channel. That would be great. We'll have some parts of it on my Facebook channel, Parenting Your Child in Recovery, and we'll have clips. And we're going to start putting some of the videos out and doing lives on my LinkedIn channels, Second Starts, and under Richard Jones. So you can find this video there. Steve, let's get to it. I want to get you up on the soapbox.
Right on.
Okay.
Let's stand on her, Richard.
Okay, let's do it. The first thing, the first thing I want you to talk about is your view on addiction in the workplace. You have some very interesting views on. I want to hear you talk about that.
Yeah, I just think addiction in the workplace. At least with my experience, it was very stigmatized. It was almost isolating. In
Yeah.
addiction, it's isolating enough as it is.
Right.
Uh, and so when it comes to addiction in the workplace, like I was I stood in front of my addiction and I let my workplace know I was dealing with my problem with alcohol. I came out right away and
Right.
I let them know and I let HR know and I talked to my boss and that my relationship with my workplace changed pretty drastically.
Hmm.
Um, it became more isolating. People didn't talk to me near as much. It was like I didn't really understand it. It didn't make
Okay.
any sense. It is okay now that you have a problem. Here is your piece of paper that says here's our employment assistance program and go deal with it yourself. Now I don't expect my workplace
Mm-hmm.
to deal with my recovery and my addiction, but I very much felt like a number as
Okay.
opposed to an employee after that. Like it's so I mean, all it takes is a little bit of compassion and a little
Right.
bit of understanding
Mm-hmm.
and which goes an incredibly long way, right? I'm not asking to be treated any differently.
Right.
I'm I'm just asking for support. I guess that's what it all comes down to, right? And handing me a sheet of paper that says, uh, here's the assistance program that we can use that you can use, and I tried to use it, and
Right.
the assistance program only lasts 3 sessions, and then what do you do? It's like talking to
Wow.
a therapist 3 times, and in hopes that you come out of that with the tools that you can go ahead and use. It's some sheets of paper and stuff like that, and here's your laundry list of tools, and it doesn't really come with a whole hell of a lot of support. And
Okay. Yeah.
um,
Okay.
you add into, and I was middle management, so you add into that you have alcohol as something that's normalized for doing
Okay.
business.
Okay.
So it's everywhere. You go to Christmas parties and here's free drink tickets, golf tournaments, free drink tickets,
Right.
company outings. Um, you don't pay for any of your drinks whatsoever. And I mean, not only is alcohol just like alcohol's bad for you, it also reduces performance.
Exactly. And
So
I'm amazed that, like you said, normalized. It's almost amazing in this day and age. My conversation with someone a while ago was the fact that they're reading out of what they call the big book. And I said, guys, a lot of this stuff is literally from 100 years ago.
mhm.
Okay. Look how far we've gotten, but look how far we haven't gotten now. Look how far we made it, but at the same time, it's 100 years. Look at where we're at, and a lot of things are really not that advanced in certain places. More, you'd think they'd be more advanced as far as help goes.
Especially when it comes to the workplace, because
Yes,
that affects the bottom line.
right.
Like I'm I wasn't a very good employee when I was in active addiction. I got worse and worse as an employee as things continued on. I worked my butt off to stay there and continue showing up to work, and I didn't miss any days. I missed one day, and that was the day I decided to get sober. After that, I didn't miss any days unless I was actually sick, but it wasn't related to um, any consumption issues. Like I was a better employee afterwards.
Well, in your recovery coaching, did
Yeah,
that come up a lot? The work, your how to deal in the workplace.
it hasn't come up a whole lot yet. We're
Okay.
also just getting started.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to actually speaking with people that are middle management or working in the workplace and dealing with those sort of issues and actually being a support system
Okay.
and helping them develop a support system
Okay.
around them that's not associated with the workplace. And even um, one of the things that I feel like is probably on my horizon at some point is speaking at workplaces
Okay.
about addiction and about how it affects, even though we know that it affects us in the
Mhm.
workplace. I mean, if you
Right.
look at the statistics, like we're at 1 in 7 now, I think,
Okay.
of somebody in some like in I think in the US. I'm in Canada, but so I don't think they're going to be that far off. But 1 in 7 people with a substance use disorder.
And it's significant.
That
It's
that is, if you have a workplace that has 100 people in it, what does that equal?
right.
And it's basically ignored or shunned or treated differently. I think it's slowly starting to work its way in because culturally we're getting more aware of the effects of alcohol and on human performance and on cognitive ability and all the rest.
Okay. Well, and that brings me to another one of your soapbox issues. How it is actually just so misunderstood. How addiction is misunderstood, not just in the workplace but everywhere, as far as helping and treating addiction. How it's misunderstood.
I
You
mean,
know.
it's a physical problem, but it's a mental thing, right?
Right.
It's all about once I've figured out once I stopped drinking, um the rest of it was a head game, and that's where the support comes in. And it's not about you know whether I had alcohol around me or anything like that, but it is so supported.
Okay. Yes.
uh the other side of it, the consumption of it, like it's still treated like fun.
Oh,
um
it is.
right. And it's just it is it's a and I think the misunderstanding is just because we don't understand it, we fear it.
Right.
um it's no different than if an employee had cancer, except for you have a better idea of how to deal with that because it's a physical ailment, not a mental health ailment. And when we start getting into mental health ailments or things of that nature, the water starts to get
Mhm.
a little muddy.
Right. No
and
doubt.
and our interpersonal skills uh, are way more required, and so is leadership.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay, Steve, talk to me a little bit about. You mentioned to me before about your ideas and your thoughts about the virtual recovery business. How you tell me? Give me your vision on that. I'm curious to hear about that.
COVID's done some wonderful things. Well,
Okay.
one of the wonderful things it did was it opened up virtual recovery meetings, and that was where I started. This is how I've recovered this whole time for this 2 years, eight
Okay.
months. It's been all online, and I've met a bunch of amazing people from all over Canada and the U.S.
Okay.
and I've developed a passion for recovery and what recovery is all about. And so we started the Through the Glass Recovery podcast. And after
Mhm.
we started getting involved and starting this podcast, which is a conversational podcast with, I don't know, do you want me to talk about that?
Oh yeah. Go ahead, please.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a conversational podcast that Richard joined us on an episode. We have 5 people, and Julie and myself, the co-host. We pick a topic and we discuss around. We have a roundtable discussion on what that looks like, and it's a replica of the recovery meetings
Right.
where Julie and I met, and we wanted to, because it helped us out so much.
Right.
Those half an hour intimate conversations
Hmm.
between a group of people in recovery where we just shared life, and we shared our problems, and sometimes we even shared our solutions to the problems.
Okay.
And that's where my growth skyrocketed. That's where my emotional health skyrocketed. That's where I found connection, and that's where I found my people.
Okay.
And we wanted to share that with everyone.
And I want to say that I was privileged to be on the show with you. And if you haven't listened to the podcast, you're making an error. Hope you correct that error soon. It's very powerful, very powerful. Even if you go into it thinking that you know something, you can never get the kind of knowledge you get from people speaking freely. That's real knowledge about what's going on, and it's educational for anybody, whether you come from it from the practitioner side or you're getting yourself healed. Either way, it was very powerful experience for me. I got to be honest with you. Very good, very nice. And in truth, I want to tell everybody too. I was my last episode, I did have Julie, his co-host, on. So, and I
Mhm.
hope you find that. You can find that on the same channels I talked about before. You got to see Julie talk too. Very important. Talk to me about, and you mentioned something to me in our previous conversation about dealing with your personal limiting beliefs and what other people can do to, some advice on that.
Well, when it came to the personal limiting beliefs, I didn't, at the beginning. I really didn't realize that kind of the stories that I told myself were kind of handed down to me, and then I developed my own version of that. and
Okay.
and so the one I'm tackling right now is reading. I did not think that, I have intelligence
Hmm.
linked with reading, and
Okay.
so I told myself that I wasn't smart. That was my internal dialogue, because I
Okay.
didn't read, and because I told myself I couldn't sit down, and because I told myself that I don't have the attention span for it, and because I told myself that I I can't concentrate, like attention span, uh, it's just boring.
Hmm.
And all I did was make up excuses to leave myself in the same place over and over again. It's just too hard. It's not a mountain that I want to climb.
Right.
Um, that's not something I grew up with. It
Okay.
wasn't Reading was never a thing that we did in the family. It was never one of those things, and so it became limiting. It's a
Okay.
limiting belief to me
Right.
that and it's a cycle that I perpetuated.
Yes.
So I decided that I would do something about it. Uh,
Okay.
so I did. I started. Julie started actually a 20-minute challenge, and with our group from Through the Glass, there's almost, I think there's 10 of us that are doing this challenge now, and it's 20 minutes. Pick 20 minutes. Pick something that's good for you,
Okay.
and do it for 20 minutes. What do you want to challenge yourself with? Make sure you make the time and all the rest of it. And so I'm a month into it, and I'm a book and a half deep, and I'll
Okay.
tell you. Um, I've I've read 3 books now from front to back my
Wow.
entire for my entire life, without cheating. And I've just read a book and a half. I'm on Codependent No More, halfway through it, and some of the things I've learned about myself, and I'm just looking forward to doing more of it. Like
Excellent.
it's taken me over a year and a half to overcome it.
All right. And I wanted to say that I wanted to ask you about that, I wanted to throw my little two cents in and say that I personally believe, and I don't know how many people jump on it with me or not, but I believe that the whole essence of recovery is dealing with a limiting belief,
Absolutely.
because you are either tricked, bamboozled, swindled, learned, however you want to put it, into
Mhm.
thinking that you don't deserve
Yeah.
the health, the awareness, and everything that goes with being
I'm not good
totally.
enough.
Yeah, exactly. And that's
Yeah.
what helps. And that's what helps keep you down. You work with that. And then
Mhm.
all that. And I always tell you, you're going to get plenty of help. You don't have to worry. If you limit your beliefs, there's always somebody to bring you the worst things for you. They will carry them right to you. You don't have to walk toward them or anything. So if you want to deal with addiction, don't worry about it. Don't fight those limiting beliefs. They'll bring you everything you need to get worse. Not a problem. It's never been an issue.
No doubt.
Never been an issue. They'll help
Yep.
you out, no problem at all.
Yep.
Steve, listen, let's get through some good stuff here.
All right.
I asked a silly question, so let's get started here before
Now
we
you're
open.
talking. I
Yeah,
like
okay,
silly questions.
okay. I asked you this before, but I'm gonna ask you again. I know the answer to this one. What is your favorite color?
Red.
Red. You
It
told
used to
me.
be blue, but I'm picking red this time.
Okay, I like it.
That's what I'm going with. I'm wearing blue right now, but whenever I wear red, I feel really good about myself. So
Okay,
I'm going with red.
and I like to read this because I always go in there. What does it mean to respect this guy? He's bold, boisterous, full of energy, spontaneous and passionate, ambitious. I like this one, competitive and optimistic. So red's good. I don't think that they have anything bad for any of the colors, but
Yeah.
red is good, especially for a person who is a helping professional and wants to get in there and help people. It helps that you lead with that optimism. You
Yeah,
know.
there's definitely an optimism that it's like there's always I'm blessed to be able to see the good side of a lot of things, and I think one of the gifts I did the whole Simon Sinek Find Your Why,
Okay.
and it really is. I really do see the good in people, and I want them to see that for themselves.
That guy Simon, he says the most in the fewest words I think I've ever seen.
I know some of them are gut punches, man. They're
Yeah,
great.
he is
They're
really something.
absolutely great.
Yes. Favorite movie?
Ooh, man. Oh,
It's a
it's
hard spur of the moment
it's
one. I
a
love that one.
favorite movie.
And if you can't pick your favorite, pick a good one that you really like.
Oh no, it's probably one of the movies I've probably watched the most of over and over and over again is Gladiator.
Oh yeah.
A
Okay.
great movie.
Great movie.
Yep.
Great movie. I love that movie. That movie
Mhm.
is exhausting.
It is. I had when I was younger, and I still for some reason revenge movies are movies that I get into.
Okay.
Shooter is another one of my favorite movies.
Okay. Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
I like that. Favorite food?
Favorite food. Ooh, my mom makes a mean curry chicken.
Okay.
Like if that's there, I will eat until I can't move. Yeah,
That sounds tasty. That
it
sounds
is.
tasty. Steve, let me take a little time and get on your personal side.
All right.
And you said some stuff that I really loved the last time. I'm going to tell you what to say, but I got to know about some of your hobbies and what you really do. Talk to them about what you really do. It's sort of like Julie's, but you guys take it to another level.
Yeah, we kind of do. So it all started actually when I went to visit Julie in Colorado, and then she
Okay.
took me for a hike, and after that experience, um, I it changed my life. It really
Okay.
did. My passion for traveling pretty much exploded.
Okay.
I turned the back of my Dodge Ram into I bought just a topper on the back, a raised topper to put on the back, and I've got pull-out storage. I've got a bed in there.
Okay.
Like, it is a traveling little hotel.
Ooh,
It's nothing special, but it's absolutely amazing all at the same time. I have driven from this basically St. Thomas, Ontario, Canada, uh, to Colorado like 6 times there and back. Like, that's there and back. I've been to Glacier. This past summer, I went to Glacier National Park. I just packed up my truck and left. Like 2 hours, I can be gone and start
wow.
driving anywhere. It's a little home on wheels now, and I spent 6 weeks on the road. I took my girls for a trip too. And I hiked Glacier National Park. I went to Yellowstone. I went to the Badlands in South
Wow.
Dakota. I went to Grand Tetons. I went all the way down the range to almost southern Colorado. Uh, and I just lived out of my truck.
Everybody, everybody's envious of that. We're all envious of that. Everybody says, "Boy, I wish I could just," and you can, but you got to get your mind right and let yourself create that freedom.
And and then I've taken the girls down to North Carolina, and I've since also I went out east all the way to New Hampshire, and then drove up the coast through Maine all the way to PEI, and back through northern Maine and Vermont and New York State through I don't know. I'm getting to see the U.S. Even though I'm Canadian. I've it's there's so many gorgeous things to see, and I have I don't mind driving at all. So I can pack up and go for 12, 16 hours and be good to go and find a parking spot or a free campsite. They're all over the place.
Right.
And I've been to some really gorgeous places in like backwoods Tennessee and Kentucky with free campgrounds. And let me tell you, I would have never gone or been there or been able to experience any of this if it wasn't for this journey that I've began to embark on. And
Right.
I feel really, really blessed. And every time I talk about this, my heart just fills up because I feel like packing up and going somewhere because it's just that fun.
Steve, tell me something
Yeah.
off the top of your head.
hmm
Any anything or anybody really lead in influencing you in this journey, especially working and helping people with addiction? Anything particular really influence you to move toward that area, not just be in recovery, but to help in recovery?
No, and I had a journal question that kind of asked if I had anybody I like looked up to. There's no person in particular. Um, for helping people, this is where my heart is leading me.
Okay.
This is where my heart is telling me I want to go. It's super fulfilling for me. But the people that I look up to are those people like Simon Sinek.
Mm,
Teal Swan is someone I look up to when it
okay.
comes to the spirituality part. Like, there's some
Okay.
big names out there.
Right.
Um, Alex Hermosi when it comes to just getting off
Alex
your.
Hormozy is something, isn't
Yeah, I
he?
mean, he's another one that packs a punch in a
Yes.
short period of time. Mel Robbins,
Yeah.
like, get off your butt and just start. So um all of them have had an influence on me. uh Chris Williamson. I There's some people that just they say the words the right way that
Right.
hit in that soft spot
Mhm.
where you're like, ooh,
Exactly.
all right, you have my attention. I need to do something about this. And so I feel like I'm just getting started.
Good.
I'm
Excellent.
super excited for where all of this is going to take me.
Very good. Steve, um, mainly what I do is help the parents working with young adults and recovery.
Hmm.
Any words of wisdom or anything you could say to them as far as giving them? I don't want to use the word hope, but I'm gonna use the word hope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a way out. And if I'm going to talk from my own experience, listen.
Mhm.
Learn to listen. You
Okay.
might not like what you hear.
Right.
That's okay.
Okay.
Feeling, granting someone the feeling of being heard is a gift, especially when you're young.
Very good. Steve, I want to thank you for spending time with me on the soapbox.
Thank you.
Uh, uh, Continued good luck in everything you do. And if everything works out well for me, I get a chance to be on that journey with you and Julie sometime and do some things together. We're all in the same boat. So again, I want to thank you so much for coming with me on the soapbox.
Thank you so much for having me, Richard. I would be glad to join you in any part that we can help out with one way or another.
Very good. Okay, everyone. Till next time on the soapbox. Thank you.
Thank you.